This is the Stakeout, our first digital episode, but we've ranted about that enough in the last one.
I had to watch it online like an animal! An animal!
I mean, not that a lot of people that are watching Korra originally, I guess, weren't used to that, like whatever, watching the...
Actually, ironically, the funny thing is, in some ways, I actually prefer watching it online.
Hypocrite!
No,
Hypocrite!
that's not the issue. The issue is not that I have to watch it online. The issue is the way in which they did it. Like, you know, they completely screwed over the show's creator. There's no advertiser. We're just going to throw this on there. But we've gone over that. That's the issue. I don't mind having to watch it online.
So, with that said, in this episode, we got, they're on the lookout for, baldy guy with glasses, as they usually say. Look for bald guy with glasses, and just maybe it was me. And he's in this place, and they're staking it out, and he never seems to leave. And they finally figure out he's going to the spirit world. And Korra follows him and finds the bad guy there. Who I love the way he gets rid of that guy. Just like, you know, it's like, Korra, 1 second, grabs him, disappears, throws him off a cliff, comes back, let's talk.
That was awesome.
I love the way he did that.
You just threw him off a cliff. Oh, that's fine. He'll just be wandering in the pit of lost souls for all eternity. But you, me, what's going on?
Let's chat. So Korra, whether intelligently or not intelligently, you know, sits down, listens to what he has to say, and is most likely telling the truth. He's kind of like
It's not unintelligent. She's just assuming that her friends have got her back.
Yeah,
and that they don't know where she... Yeah, so...
Got the, it turns like he's pretty much a member of the, Red Lotus League of Shadows.
Which sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, honestly, when I heard the term Red Lotus, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't even know what they do yet, but that's cool.
We gotta make it even darker. Let's call it the Crimson Lotus.
And, which is this division that sort of broke away from the White Lotus, feeling like, you know, they kind of sold out and they became part of the man and the corporations and stuff, and now they're corrupted.
Yeah, they're basically like bending anarchists, it seems.
Yeah, and so they're starting their...
Banarchists.
Yeah, they're Tyler dirting it, and they're pretty much saying that, you know, order comes from no order, so everything should be eradicated and we start over, and that's the natural way, we're just speeding it up.
I love when he's just like, well, even you gotta admit, like, the president and all these people and the Earth Queen are totally corrupt. Don't you want to see them go down? And, like, I swear you could almost see the thought bubble in her head for a second. Well, you know, now that you think about it,
No!
Hey, no, I guess not, but...
So, yeah, and eventually they try to, his minions or whatever, try to go and get Korra again. And both sides get captured, but by different people. Mako and Mullen, they're captured by, you know, the Red Lotus, now we can call them that. And then
yeah, Team Avatar is kind of sucking right now, I gotta say.
and then the Earth Queen captured Korra, and I forget her
in a
name.
Hannibal Lecter getup.
Yeah.
That was the greatest.
I was thinking, it's like, well, wait a minute.
I'm
okay,
like, wow, somebody ruled 34 at this.
No, I was like, okay, the straitjacket I get, but what, is she gonna spit bend or something? Like, what was she gonna do?
Well, she's an airbender. Maybe she can whistle a tornado.
Yeah, like, I didn't know. I don't know, but yeah, so she's in her Hannibal Lecter getup.
Love your suit. Just killed me.
Toughens the nipples, Earth Queen.
I bent her liver with a summer breeze and a nice Chianti.
So, and they're heading off, and, you know, what will happen? So,
tune in next week. That's all. We're done.
Okay, bye. No. I want to run this by you because I'm curious if you're kind of seeing this too, or if it's just me.
Do tell.
No, it's okay. So
I actually don't know what the hell you're gonna ask.
No, the episode's fine. It's a good episode. Honestly, like all the episodes, they're all good. They're all fine. Are you sensing a bit of a formula with this season? Because I'm saying to myself, okay, so the bad guys are gonna go, like Team Avatar is gonna fight them with some cool bending, but nothing like really that massive, you know? Okay, the lava bending's kind of neat, and then they're gonna talk about who they are, and it's gonna be a just chaos rules, I want to rule everything through my crazy plan, and I'm thinking about this, and I'm saying to myself, you know, everything's good, it's good, but there's something I'm kind of missing, strangely enough, about the risks taken in the other seasons. To me, it doesn't seem like there's much risk being taken with this season. It seems very safe. It's smart, but it's very safe.
It seems safe because they've been trying to keep her out of trouble this whole season. That's been the major defining aspect of it. I mean, if you think about second season, Korra's just like, yeah, my father's been framed, I'm gonna go kick some ass, and you know, she does her thing. If you think about season 1, it's, oh, you know, we've got this crazy guy who can take away my powers, I'm gonna have to go kick some ass. And then if she wasn't doing that, she was in the pro bending thing and kicking ass.
And on top of that, introducing this new world.
This one, right from the beginning, they're just like, oh, there's nasty people out there. Korra, we need to send you away. And then, you know, Lin Beifong, we need to protect you. And that's literally been what's been going on since. So that's part of the issue, is I think they've been trying to keep her out of trouble, so it's very much this little game of kind of cat and mouse where they're trying to figure out the mystery, but it's not moving very quickly, but I don't really mind that.
Well, and we're getting closer kind of to the end. I mean, how many, we got 4 or 5 episodes, something like that left, and I was thinking about, like, what's...
I don't know, I kind of lost track, because it's been like, we're going to show 2 episodes at a time, and now it's running online. Now it's 1 episode again. Now it's I'm actually not sure what episode we're on.
Yeah, but it's...
You'll probably put it when you edit it together and be like, oh, that's the episode. But
but no, I'm sort of watching and thinking, like, you know, even though second season definitely we had some major issues and it was kind of a mess and everything, there was still, like I said, there were these... The stuff I really remember the new characters they brought in. I really remember a lot of the events and going to the spirit world and the giant beasts. I remember it ending strong and starting strong. And with this one, it's like I said, it's not bad, but it's sort of just this one note for the most part. It's like, I like the kid that they brought in. And I like seeing Lynn's sister, but it's like, aside from that, like, I remember so many characters from the first 2 seasons, the ones they kept bringing in. You know, we haven't seen much of, when we saw Zuko and the dragon, I'm like, oh my god, what is this gonna be? And we haven't really seen much of it.
Well, we're not done yet.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't know where
it's
it's going, because this is kind of like the big long breath. Like, we had second season, second season had so much shit in it, and first season had a lot going on. Then this is almost like let's take a step back and let the story just kind of flow at its own sort of pace. But I mean, I'm trying to think about it. It feels... This one feels more like the second part in a trilogy. Season 2 did not. Like, because that was the problem. Season 1 felt like a closed story. It's, you got a beginning, middle, end, and we're done, because they thought that's all we're gonna get. So season 2, when it opened up, didn't feel like, oh, this is the second part in a long story. It almost felt like it was like, well, I guess we'll just kind of pretend season 1 didn't really fully happen, because now we got to create 3 more of these. So this feels like that second middle part, that 2 towers part of the story, where it's not bad, but there's a lot of meandering around and different characters, and even like, I'm just gonna say it, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite of the Star Wars series, but if you think about what happens
there's
in
a lot
that
of meandering,
movie,
I mean,
I mean, you have the battle on Hoth, and then nothing till the end. I mean, it's pretty much every character's on the run, and Luke is literally doing push-ups on Dagobah. That is your story.
Well,
but it's fine. It totally works, and I think this totally works too. I don't have a real issue with it. So.
Well, I think, but with Empire and those other ones, the characters we're kind of constantly learning more and more about them, and with the main characters, they sort of leveled out, and with the villains too, I'm learning it's like they look cool and they have cool powers, but I'm like, in this one, it's like they're fighting again. I was like, you know, I'm not that excited because I don't know much about the character with the chick, the water arms. I don't know much about Third Eye. I don't know much about.
I'm gonna cut you. They're awesome.
No, they look cool. They got cool powers, but I don't know anything about them really. I know they're outlaws, but like in terms of like, you know, oh, that's so what Water Arms would do. It's like, I don't know what she would do. You know, I don't know what, well, you know, sort of their backup is.
Well, I don't know. I didn't have that problem with Amon. They eventually revealed it near the end.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm like, he had so much personality though.
Well, when you get Steve Bloom to do a guy's voice, that kind of just...
No, I mean, and when you get down to it, he would go like this and that's about it, but just his presence was so strong.
And the awesome kabuki mask.
Yeah, and these people had great designs, but yeah, when it comes to like...
You know what I'm talking about?
I
I will say this, Zahir is the interesting character. And that you are right. That may be a slight flaw, which is I'm really interested in knowing Zahir's backstory. The other three, I'm just like, I view them, they're henchmen. I'm like, I don't see them right now, at least anyway. I mean, maybe we'll get more revealed, but I don't see them as being anything much more than henchmen. But I think they've decided to go with this mystery of trying to track these guys down. Like, if this were the original Avatar, you'd have... Well, you'd have a story from beginning to end and not this sort of thing where it's just like a new story every season. So you could have the time to really develop the backstories of like the henchmen characters.
Yeah, like
you did with Azula and
hench ladies and stuff.
They may not just feel like they've got the time. Or they may just be slammed up against a wall because Christ only knows what Nickelodeon's telling them every other minute. Like... Well, now do it this way, now do it that way, now this way, now that way.
Well, like, what I gotta tell myself too is that, because I do remember with Korra, with all the seasons really of Korra, the middle has always kind of been the least interesting part. You know, is that there is sort of, like, in the first one there was a lot of the bending tournaments, in the second one there was a lot of the crying drama not really connecting to the spirits, but they had such good beginning and closing.
They do always have
the first one was a bit more balanced, but
quieter... Yeah. Middle acts.
Yeah, so
I mean, though, you know, honestly though, I thought the fight in the Metal City was amazing. So that was a really high mark for the middle of a season. Like,
yeah, I know, but again, I'm thinking like, you know, Avatar Season 2, you know, when you had all those great side characters come in, and it's like, you didn't need much, but you just sort of got them, you know.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
and the metal one and stuff, it's like, you just sort of got them.
Now that I'm thinking about it, though, like, we had that really great fight in the previous episode, and then in this episode, we got this great cliffhanger. I mean, like, I'm actually not disappointed. Like, every episode, I think, has been written pretty tight enough to get me to watch the next one.
I mean, like I said, I feel bad talking about it because they're good, and they're fixing a lot of the problems that they had before, but it's almost like I said, I almost want a little bit of that risk, strangely enough. I want them to go to some sort of weird extra... I will say this too,
honestly,
though.
We had that in, like, the second season, and we kind of sucked because of that. It just was throwing everything out there, and it kind of just was messy. Like,
but it's hard to say. Would I rather have something that throws the dart the extremes, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't all work, but it's memorable, and, you know... I'll never forget it, or is it something where
not
it's
twice in a row? Like,
I mean,
we just had that, so I don't want to have it again. Like, I mean, you could take the risk and you could do it really right. I don't know what these guys are facing though in trying to write this series, so you could argue like, oh well, they should have just taken the risk again. But if it ended up being as messy as the second season was, you'd have people being like, I told you it was gonna suck.
Well, with all this stuff, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I mean, I'm talking more about just the product that's put out.
I think honestly, it's taken risks. It's just done it really slowly, and I don't mind. I mean, we've got airbenders coming back, so we've still got we have this criminal who's now an airbender, who now we find out is an anarchist. We've got Korra as a prisoner of the Earth Queen. I mean, that's supposed to be an ally. You know, now she's with them. You've got Bolin and Mako, you know, trapped by these criminals. Like, honestly, you have a whole new Metal City that we've seen with Lin Beifong's backstory fleshed out, and Lin Beifong's niece now going off to become an airbender. Like, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, they actually did a lot of stuff so far.
I was gonna say, actually, the one thing that they did in this that I was really happy to see, and I'm kind of hoping they'll tap on more, is that you see spirits again. There's spirits flying around. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of happened.
Yeah,
and you see them like interacting with the map and trying to track
I do say this. I kind of want. Yeah, it opened with trying to get rid of the spirits out of the city and solving that problem. I feel like that really did get pushed.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, like this story is good and everything, but I'm also sort of saying like, yeah, what's going on with that city? And it's so weird because I always like, yeah, go out of the city, go.
I'm assuming
but
they're
that's
going
where the
back
spirit.
there.
No, but that's where the spirits are, and I'm just like, I guess what the last season was so promising, this change with the spirits, and to me, that's just where more of the meaty stuff is.
Well, it seems like they just reversed it. Now the change is people can airbend, and we have the Red Lotus, which is really the ultimate change, because they just want anarchy, so they want the dissolution of all order. That's a big change.
But I get, if they could tie it. But
I agree. I agree. I don't know why the spirits have been sidestepped, but this whole series from the beginning, though, has been really season 1 is the only one so far that like I'm just like it was so tightly written and just knew exactly what it was, for better or worse. I mean, I didn't like the ending obviously, but that's 10 minutes of suck in an otherwise I thought really good show. It sets since then just dragging this out and like give us 3 more seasons and all of the, it just seems like they got backed into a corner and they're like, crap. I'm not sure they had a plan. Like, I think they had that one season because they're like, well, it's probably all we're going to get out of these people. And now they're just like, now we got to pull 3 seasons and then there may be stipulations involved, you know, like, oh, well, you have to make sure that each one is its own close-knit story, which is the exact opposite of what the original Avatar was.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough position because, yeah.
I wonder what this would have been had Nickelodeon just literally told them, okay, we liked the original Avatar, do the same thing. You got 3 seasons, X number of episodes, tell it however you want.
Yeah, and go.
I am so curious how that would have worked out. My guess is it would have a lot of these elements that are here, but it would be way more organized and it would build at a good pace and like...
Yeah, and like, maybe the climax in season 2 would be like the climax of like the 3rd season or something.
Yeah, and it would make sense, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Season 2 feels like it should have been a season 1. Season 1 feels like it's in some other universe now, pushed away. Now that we got season 3, which is like this kind of dip, this kind of slow-moving middle part of the story. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it feels like 2 should have been 1, maybe 3 should have been 2, and then 1 should have been 3. It's somewhere... Yeah, and it's...
Because I still vote that Amon, out of all the villains we've had so far, is the most scary, at least on a personal level, for Korra and for the concept of bending, which is the central theme of this whole universe. Like, I would have done that last.
Yeah.
Like, now, I don't know. I mean, season 4, they may be building up to something that's going to be like, holy shit, but from what I've seen so far... I would have saved them on for last.
Yeah, and that's why I got to remind
obviously
myself...
they couldn't do that, because...
And that's why I got to remind myself, too, that they do have a whole other season coming up, too. So, I mean, maybe...
And I'll be curious to see if it connects to that season. Like, because it's like, this one kind of connects to season 2. There's holdover stuff, but it's also like, well, it's our new thing with new villains out, and I'm like, are we just going to kill these really cool guys we just found in this season, and then go to yet another set of villains? And so we'll have 4 villains, whereas Avatar, pretty much you had, like, mostly the one. You've got the Fire Lord, and then, you know, Azula, and but they're there from the beginning to the end. And then this one, it's a new villain every season. It's like Monster of the Week or something.
I wouldn't mind seeing them do kind of like what they did with the BioShock games, where they had the, you know, these... 2, I mean, I know it's like 3 games, but, you know, these 2 different worlds that really didn't seem to connect.
BioShock 2 sucks.
Yeah, I mean, nobody remembers BioShock 2, but, you know, BioShock and then BioShock Infinite, you know, it's like, okay, and that was kind of like their swan song, whatever, and then they had these spin-off games where they very nicely tied them together, and I'm sure they didn't think of how these 2 worlds would tie together, but they nicely...
No, they retconned that brilliantly, too.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Like, well, this obviously wasn't the plan, but well played.
It'd be nice to see, because they're really good writers, it would be nice to see if they can tie these all together.
I think they're trying, but here's my theory. I think they're trying to do that, but I think... I could be totally wrong. Maybe we'll all tell you, but I think at this point they have written off season 1. That they're just like, okay, season 1 is its own, like, we're done, like, but I think they're trying to tie at least 2, 3, and 4 together. That's my guess. But how it ties to season 1, I just can't think of anything. I'm like, there really wasn't much held over from season 1. So maybe they're just like, you know what, we'll ditch referencing really much of anything from season 1 and just, you know, we're going to try to make 2, 3, and 4 connect. Kind of, you know what, actually like the Star Trek movies, the original Star Trek movies.
Yeah, like one really doesn't have anything to do with it.
When it was all said and done, it was like, who gives a fuck about the slow motion picture? Like, you know, Star Trek 2, 3, and 4, Wrath of Khan through Voyage Home, all work as kind of one story. To varying degrees of success, but I mean, you can tell it's one story arc, and they didn't have that planned. They just kind of went along with it. So I mean, maybe they're trying to do that, but
yeah. So it's.
But I like this season so far.
I like it too.
So far, more than season 2. The only thing I'm missing is I did love the backstory about the first Avatar, and I loved all that. And some of the side characters were great. The twins, and of course Varric. Still need more Varric.
Yes.
but
yeah, no, and just to clarify, I don't think this is a bad season by any means. It is good. and we're not even at the end yet. I mean, so it's all of this is just doing what vlogs are doing, just saying our thoughts at the time. Could get to the very end and just be like, oh, now I get it. Oh my, holy crap! And it's hell, even the end of season 4. Maybe I could go back to season 3 and be like, now I get it. Holy crap!
And have you noticed another interesting thematic shift, if you will?
How'd that go?
Thematic shift.
Watch that for it.
If you think of the villain in, pardon me, I'm losing my voice. If you think of the villain in Avatar, it's the Fire Lord. He's pretty much it. The only one who had a backstory that was a little more endearing as a villain, a straight-up villain, was probably his father, who thought, like, well, I can unite them all as one nation, it'll be fine. But I mean, Mark Hamill's Fire Lord, that guy's just like, he's just cuckoo. Yeah, he's just fucked up. Like, he's just pretty much evil. Think about all of the villains in this one, even Amon. Amon's probably the closest so far to maybe just evil, like kind of a douchebag, but they all have this kind of theme of best intentions gone awry.
I'd even argue Amon, even though he wasn't that
Amon wanted to equalize.
Yeah,
he wanted to equalize everything. He was raised by an abusive father. He wanted to equalize everything. Best intentions gone awry. The uncle with the spirit worlds, best intentions gone awry. And now we find out in, I don't know if they planned it from the beginning or if they're retconning it, but we find out through Zahir that the uncle was part of the Red Lotus, and the Red Lotus is about, you know, anarchy for the goal of bringing about change and bringing down corrupt leadership. Again, best intentions gone awry. Like, that seems to be the theme of all the villains in this season versus the original Avatar, where it's more about Zuko and everybody trying to basically overcome a crazy guy. It was more about the good guys and how they're dealing with trying to fight evil. Evil itself just, for the most part, just seemed to be evil. Like,
in the second one, wasn't he trying to, like, you know, bring back the ultimate bad evil spirit of, you know, life, though?
Don't ask me to remember the second season.
That seemed not best intentions in mind.
No, but didn't he have some sort of, you know, you have to do this, because then we're going to get a million comments of people are going to be like, don't you guys remember? I thought he believed that what he was doing was right. That there was a reason, and that
I don't remember him
locking
just
up
because I'm evil.
Well, yeah, I thought he thought it was like a yin yang thing, that by locking up the dark side, you know, you basically in your own way were creating imbalance, and that it was unfair, and that ultimately what he was doing was right. He wasn't, of course. Well, maybe he was, because now you have to have the spirits in balance, you know. I don't know. I didn't get pure evil out of Unalaq.
Yeah, I mean, there was, you're probably right, there was something in there where he's talking about how this is not technically evil. Okay, it's evil, but it's kind of needed, you know, so...
But it's evil for good!
Yeah.
So, and there was no evil for good in Mark Hamill's Fire Lord.
He was just a dick.
It's like, I want to kill you all. Like, that was pretty much it. Like, the image of him setting the forests on fire.
So he's just misunderstood.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just found that really interesting. And now I think with Zahir's revelation, it came full circle. I suddenly had like a light bulb over my like, ding! I'm like, oh, this is the theme of all the villains like in this series. So
yeah, so it's still good. I mean, it is still really good. And like I said, it's probably just me being impatient, honestly. I mean, just waiting to see where it's gonna go. But yeah, that's just what these vlogs are, and just saying what we think of the time. And yeah, it's still a good episode. Still curious where it's gonna go. And
patience. You must learn patience.
Screw you, puppet! Oh. I always wanted to see him like take Yoda off his back, like throw up, and then just drop him like a soccer ball.
You wouldn't last long because Yoda would then just throw an X-wing back at you.
Yeah. Boom! Ha ha ha! Wah! So,
how you like it, we will see, bitch. Biatch. I will say one last thing is one advantage to watching it online, which is something I noticed because I used to watch a lot of anime online. When you're that close to a monitor, if you have a pretty decent monitor, you really get an even better sense of the artwork. Like, I was watching it, you know,
I did notice the background
online, and I'm just like, I was like, really, it's not a problem for me to watch it online. I kind of prefer it that way. It's just the way they went about it. But the background art is just so gorgeous. And I kind of just rediscovered it again when they're wandering in the desert. I'm like, oh man, is this pretty. So there's advantages to seeing it online.
Yeah, so that's about it, and we'll just see you at the next one. Take care.